What's up? Man. Thank y'all. Wow. Finally, it took 4 years, but we did it. Yeah, so I wanted to just give like 10, 15 minutes to do like a talk back, to kind of walk through the pieces, kind of give some updates and everything. But first, I just wanted to say thank y'all so much. I'm 32, I'm old today, I'm old. And the backstory, so for my 29th, I wanted to initially do something similar. But 2023 was just so chaotic. There was too much going on, and I couldn't put together something like this that felt right. And so from 2022 to about 2024, early 2024, I began to pull together a play that went up 2 summers ago, all called Letters from the Bathroom Floor. And it was the first time I took the performing, the writing, all the different things I've been doing pretty much since undergrad and put it out into the world. And I was humbled, sold out 3 nights, which I did not expect, but a lot of people were like, you gotta submit for a festival. You gotta like stop sitting on this stuff, put it in a festival. And I was like, nah, I'm just a guy. I'm just gonna write, do my little piece every 6 months and go back into hiding. And a good mentor of mine, a good brother out of the Westchester office was like, here's what we're gonna do. You either submit the play yourself, or I'm just gonna submit it and put your name on the thing. And I was like, well, I guess I'll do it myself. So I submitted, and I'm awaiting to hear back to see if it'll be picked up for its first festival. And I'm excited, whether it gets picked up or not, I don't care, it's out there. But then I realized that I had written that play really about Black men, mental health, COVID, and the internal dialogues that we all hear. But I never gave like what happens after you get out of your head. Then I started building this piece that was titled Requiem before Beyonce dropped Cowboy Carter, for the record, as an opportunity to say, okay, if you are locked in a conversation with God, what do you confront? And I think as Black men in particular, we confront many things. America is a unique place right now. The struggles that we all hold are unique, and I wanted to create a piece that named those emotions without dressing them up to be cute or fun or palatable. It's messy being Black in America at any point in time, but especially right now, it's a unique time. So I decided for my 32nd, I'm gonna do like a mini show and pull together some of the pieces that I think really speak to those emotions. And so I'm just glad that y'all are here. I'm glad that like some people have been rocking literally since, well, my parents obviously since I was popped out, but people from undergrad, from the Institute, from Syracuse, from Alpha, from many other spaces, and I'm just really grateful from elementary school, literally. And yeah, so I'm just so grateful. I hope that, as I close, the thing that everyone took away from this, and I always, whenever I do like this, I try to tell people, don't sit with the emotion that you thought you saw. Sit with, if that was someone you knew, how then could I be kinder? How then could I be softer? How then could I inspire that person? Opposed to having that dear God moment and trying to rip apart the American flag, how can they get the support that they need to be the best and most full person they can be? But yeah, that's my spiel. This was nerve-wracking. I was like, I don't know how this is gonna go. It was snowing last night. I said, of course, I was born in a blizzard. It's on brand. Thank you. But yeah, the last thing I will say, people ask like, okay, Ronald, why are you charging $85? The reason why I asked for 85 was, like, I subsidized all of this today. It's very expensive to put on a performance, but the 85, 60% of it is going to a nonprofit that you gave. The rest I just used for like incidental stuff. So there are 2 places that have had an amazing impact on my life. The first is Syracuse University. The second is the Institute for Responsible Citizenship. Yeah, class of 14. And for the last 5 years now, that's crazy, I've been the director of the New York Collegiate Institute. And one thing I try to model for my 25 young black men who are all brilliant from different schools across the city is if you want things to exist, you have to sow into them. I'm in business school. I'm in a lot of debt right now, but I'm still gonna put on a performance. It's okay. Jesus be a job on the other side. But you can always say things, but if you don't model things, then people won't do it. And so our first session is on January 31st. Today's the 18th. And because of you all, we'll be doing a $650 donation to the New York Collegiate Institute. And what that does for context is that pays for literally food for a whole day. That can pay 6 of my students their stipends for that day. So that's just the direct impact there. $450, yes, did the math right, is going to Syracuse University. But I'm holding my donation until I'm clear on the federal government's plans for a scholarship that benefits majorly black and brown students on that campus to make sure it goes to the right fund. I love all people, but I believe that being our hue on that campus came with a very particular background. And I didn't go through all the things I went through in undergrad to not sow into a very particular student that's having a very particular experience. And it's my right as a donor to say that, despite whatever Linda is doing down there in DC. But yeah, thank you. I'm so full. It's crazy when God steps into a room. Cause I was like, that last piece y'all heard, I was editing it last night because it's part of the new piece. And I didn't have to pause and remember words. And I said, God, you be showing out every now and then. I'm like, all right, that's great. Thank you to my team. We made a fake committee here. So first, can y'all give it up for Gerard Burnett Jr. in the back? Stand up, stand up, stand up. Gerard is my neo through the Eta Theta Lambda chapter, seated in Long Island, and I send Gerard a text like, I'm on it, I got it, I'm doing it. I also want to thank Dariano, where you at? You're right there, for also supporting and helping. To Bryce, who I called last minute, thank you, good neo. He also went to my high school as well. Yeah, I want to thank Sebastian and his team that's been capturing these visuals. I really appreciate it. Because I was like, we're going to put this out there, and I'm hoping that it touches the right lives. Chris, my brother, my photographer, thank you. My parents for my chaotic texts all week, thank you. To Chef D. Arthur, and he was kind of humble earlier. This brother is one of the kindest, of course he's an alpha because I'm biased, but one of the kindest brothers that I know. It's been amazing to watch him grow this business. He's been featured on God knows how many reality TV shows and other places, just doing what he does best, which is hosting and curating experiences. And I was like, I gotta have him there. I'm just grateful for the work that he does. So make sure y'all follow, support. Y'all have an event coming up, book him early. And then finally, I want to thank Shaquille, who has been our lovely DJ, who's been throwing in some gospel, been throwing in all types of things. I appreciate you. But yes. And then finally, I want to thank all of y'all. It's amazing. It's 2026 and people can't pull a room of people together for stuff like this. It's really sad. And I know I was a very Capricorn with, it's November 18th with the launch. And people were like, this is mad early. I don't even know my January yet. But I still got RSVPs last night. And I was like, the bills have been paid. There's nothing else we can do. But I'm just grateful. But I'll take 2 questions if folks have anything. And then, yeah, well, Marquise.
Yeah. So you said after people watch this or people are able to bear witness to this, you want them to be kinder to somebody else. How has writing this and also performing it helped you become kinder to yourself?
This piece has been, the full play that I've submitted and preparing for this has just been such a cathartic experience. I didn't realize just how much 2025 was, right? Like I started business school on my birthday a year ago, and you're like thrust into this environment where people are amazing and great, but you know, business school is competitive and then you're always like comparing yourself. And then I'm coming in from a non-traditional background. So that was like in the background. I like just like Donald Trump and just like the year that was 2025. And as someone who taught history and worked with young people for 10 years, it's like, it's just so disgusting to see how people take misnomers and and lies, and are literally uprooting what took 60, 70 years to build, right? And then just watching how, at the end of the day, this 80-year-old man, he'll go on and die at some point, but the damage that he's left, it's not small, right? When you dismantle special education services in the Department of Education, that impacts our kids. Not because they have special needs, but there are certain protections that those offices are actually implementing. When you use the Department of Justice to go after people, what you're modeling to the world is that if the right person gets into the seat of a democracy, you can weaponize it, right? When you take over Venezuela for God knows what, and you threaten Greenland, and you threaten one of the oldest military alliances, NATO, like these things have implications. And then I would go to school, and it's like, Columbia Business School was the most apolitical place on earth. We barely spoke about tariffs. And I was like, how are we gonna be good business leaders if that's the case? So in many ways, writing, preparing for all this has reminded me that in the 1920s, when people were getting lynched, we had the Harlem Renaissance. In the 30s, we had some of the most prolific poets. And so in a funny way, what if all of this is God's way of saying, I love you, and I'm calling you to create, despite the situation. Because I can't think of a time in history where things have just been peachy keen and wonderful, where good art has been produced. It only comes when things are crashing out, and I think we have a pretty good backdrop right now. So to be brief, to your question, Marquise, this felt needed. I would have very much liked to have a very simple brunch and call it a day. It's 32, I'm like, oof. But in many ways, last year, and I think this year, and the things that are coming, especially in the first 2 quarters, are God's way of saying, I sometimes have to put you in the most chaotic situations to remind you who you are primarily, but then secondarily, for you to create what I need you to create. Yeah, thank you. That was a great question. Woo. Yes, poet.
So there's been so many different evolutions of you as an artist, you with your brand, you and your artistry as a poet and playwright and so on and so forth. If you could, and I think that there are different seasons in our lives that cultivate the artists who we become in present day, how we know ourselves now. So if you could put a name on what season you believe that this is and what you feel the previous seasons have cultivated you to portray the version of yourself as an artist and as a creative that you are now, what would you say?
This is gonna sound bad, but it's not. I think I spent probably undergrad till about 2021 writing for stages that did not necessarily make sense. And what I mean by that is, I'm not a poet, but when you try to force pieces like this into a poem structure in that environment, it can be missed. People want the yes, like that, whatever the case might be, right? And that's never been, back in high school, I was in plays. My favorite play was To Kill a Mockingbird when I was Tom Robinson, not because the character, but because of what I was able to convey at that school at that time. And so I had to spend some time, and so let me just write, produce something, and think about what stage do I actually want. So I would say, to give this point a title, it's I've arrived. And I think that where I'm at right now is, yeah, thank you. This is what I want to do. This makes the most sense. I think this, because even performing this didn't feel like work. It was like I was high on some drug up here for the last 15 minutes, and I seldom feel that when I perform. And so I know it was something unique to how I did this and the choices that I made. So yeah, I would say this is what Arrival feels like. So Requiem is from Catholic masses, meaning memorial. And so the idea of this performance was paying homage to the dream of what America could be, but also paying homage and closing the chapter on who I was before 32, because I've now arrived. And it's been great on that journey. But 31 was a great closing chapter year. And 32 has already been bigger than what I could have prayed to God for. The first 3 months are kind of insane, in a good way. So yeah, welcome to the Requiem. Thank y'all. But enjoy.